Red flags in relationships are one thing, but red flags when you're hiring your divorce attorney is something else. But you really need to consider them. Today, we are talking about red flag number two when you're hiring a divorce attorney: unrealistic promises. Big deal. Welcome back to Divorce Den, everyone, where our goal is to help you create the future that you deserve during and after divorce. This is a 10-part series where we're going to be talking about the 10 red flags that you should be considering when you're looking for a divorce attorney. We already spoke about red flag number one, which was an attorney who might not necessarily practice in family law. Today, let's dive into red flag number two. Divorce is going to be an emotional and a complex process, and the last thing that you need is an attorney who comes in and gives you false hope. One of the major red flags that unfortunately I have seen in my practice, and I know a lot of people have seen when hiring a divorce attorney, is that they sometimes set unrealistic expectations, sometimes even promises about your case. So today we're going to explain why that's a huge problem, how to spot it when you are going in for a consultation, and ensure that your attorney is being upfront with you and that you are being honest with them as far as what it is that they're promising you. Here's the truth: no attorney can promise you an outcome or guarantee how your case is going to go. First of all, we're not allowed to do that according to the American Bar Association. Boring, I know, but I have to tell you that. We are prohibited from telling you that we can guarantee the outcome because, number one, we can't. We cannot tell the future, right? So there's just too many variables that come into play when you're getting divorced, whether it is the judges that are assigned to you, the opposing counsel, any financial considerations, how things are going to go with your ex. So many different things that we have no control over. After looking at your case, if your attorney gives you a general guideline, an idea of how they think that things might go, or how it is that they will help you move things forward, that's different, right? I can speak to this attorney. I've worked with them many times, and I might be able to get you something here and something there. That's different than saying, oh, this is a slam dunk. I'm going to be able to get you X, Y, and Z in child support, and I'm going to get you the house. That is a huge red flag. Huge. If your attorney is promising you that, that's just bolstering. That's just them saying, I can get you this because I'm such a great attorney and because I'm going to puff out my chest and do this. Is that the kind of attorney that you want? Someone who's going to overpromise and certainly underdeliver? Because if they're promising you all of these things, they're not necessarily going to get them for you. So here are some of the real warning signs that your attorney might be making unrealistic promises, even if they're not quite as bold as that. They guarantee that you're going to get custody of your children. No one can guarantee that. States now specifically are moving toward more of a shared parenting. Some states like Florida are now considering from the beginning that there's going to be a presumption of 50-50 equal time sharing. Now, I know that that's not New York, but what I'm saying is if they're promising you that they're going to get you child custody when there are so many things that are underlying that, even if you've been the primary caregiver, that is a huge red flag. Second sign, that they claim that you won't have to pay any spousal support or any child support. How can they possibly guarantee that? They have no idea. So that's another red flag. Number three, they assure you that your divorce will be quick and painless, and they don't necessarily give you any specifics. So you never know how quick things are going to move, especially if you're in court. And even if you're outside of court, there are so many variables, so many things that come up, they can't guarantee that. Number four, if an attorney says to you, oh, I know the judge, they'll rule in your favor on this one point, they do not know that. Even if they've been in front of that judge for 100 cases with the same exact issue, I assure you that a judge does not rule the same way every single time. Even if the facts are pretty much the same, your family is unique, the circumstances are unique, and honestly, depending on how the judge woke up that morning or what it is that the judge is thinking about, if there's new case law, if they're angry about something, they can rule very, very differently. So your attorney promising you that they know the judge and they know how they're going to rule, that is a huge red flag. Number five, if your attorney is discouraging any type of negotiation and insisting that you have to take this route, like litigation, we need to litigate this. We need to file this motion. We need to file for discovery. We need to have a deposition. If they're insisting on certain things, but there's not necessarily a game plan as to why those things are being required by that attorney, that's another thing to consider. Why do they want that? Why is it that they want to move in that direction? I've heard from clients, I've heard from other attorneys whose clients have told me that they've heard from other attorneys that they've been promised they're going to get the house, they're going to get primary custody of the kids, that they're going to get child support, that they're going to get spousal support for life. I mean, all of these things that I've heard that attorneys have promised all sound so grandiose and so perfect. If I'm in an emotional state and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose everything, and I walk into an attorney's office and they say to me, you're going to get everything that you want based on some false hope, based on some sense of ego that they have, I'm now going to walk in there and believe it. I'm not an attorney. Well, I am. But if I were in that position and I'm not an attorney, yeah, I would be inclined to believe that. So I beg you to consider this when you're going in to see an attorney, and make sure that you are really listening with the most logical ear that you can, because you need to make sure that they are looking out for your best interest and not just trying to bolster for the sake of it. So if you go in for a consultation and you hear any of these things and your ears start to perk up and you're concerned, then I certainly encourage you to speak to the attorney about it. Ask them directly, like, what challenges do you see in my case? What are some of the possible outcomes from your experience? Not guarantees, but what do you think? What are some of the risks? Big one. You want to make sure that they're telling you, oh, well, you might not win here. And you can ask them that specifically. Well, what's the worst case scenario? What if I don't win custody? What if I don't get the house? What is it going to look like? How can we work together to prepare for some of these unexpected outcomes? Have you ever handled a case where things did not go the way you thought they would, specifically based on my circumstances, right? Whether it's retirement, whether it's custody, whether it's the house, no matter what, how have you handled this in the past? How can you and I navigate this together? Just remember, the best attorneys out there, specifically family law attorneys, they're going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you the truth, even when it's something that you don't want to hear. If someone is making you promises that seem too good to be true, they probably are. So make sure that you are vetting your attorney very carefully when it comes to getting divorced, and protect your future, protect your family. If you found this video helpful, please, we encourage you to give it a thumbs up, and we would love it if you would subscribe and join us on the Divorce Den for more divorce tips going forward to help you create your best future.